Have you ever turned on your sprinkler system and nothing happens? No water's coming out, but you know the water's on? Well, it could be your solenoid. Well, what is a solenoid? And how do I know if it's bad? Well, these are sprinkler valves. These are different brands, Rainbird Hunter and Weathermatic one. And the solenoid is the part of the sprinkler valve that has the wires going into it, so it's easily identifiable. You can see on each of these, the solenoid has 2 wires going into it. And this acts like a light switch. It turns the valve on and off, and the clock is what tells it to do so. How do you know if the solenoid's bad or good? Well, there's a few ways to check it out. One way is if you have a clock that will identify it, it might show up that there's an alarm, like this one. It says station 3 wire shorted. So that could be an indication that you have a bad solenoid. Or possibly the clock says that the valve is running, but there's nothing happening. Or perhaps you hear nothing coming out of the valve and you know it should be on. When you turn it on, you hear water going, but it didn't work with just a solenoid. Well, how can you test to see if your solenoid is bad? Well, one way is a manual test. You can either turn the solenoid on by turning it to the left, or on these particular ones, there's a switch down here that you flip up and it will turn it on. Now, if the clock says that this valve should be running, but nothing is running, but then you go and turn it on manually and things work, it's indicating that it could be a bad solenoid. On other valves, you can check it by turning on the bleeder valve here to the left until you start getting just a little water. That will turn on manually as well. One way that I like is to check it here on the wires using a multimeter. So turn it to the resistance here, to the ohms, and it says open line there. So now that you've got it on, what you can do is test it to see what you're getting. So you put 1 on the common and then 1 on another valve. And the multimeter should read between 20 and 60 if you have a good solenoid. So let's check it out. Okay, that's good. Next, we'll try this one. That one's good. Now let's try this one, number 3. Okay, see, now that one's really low. Now it might show 0, or it might show infinity, or it might jump around, or it just has a really low number outside of the normal range. It's probably a bad solenoid. You can also check the solenoid by using the multimeter and making the connection to the wires here. So you connect 1 to the common where all of them are connected here. Usually it's white. And then you can check each one individually. Take the common off. We're going to check this one here, and we'll see what we get. Yep, it's showing that it's bad. It's out of the range. But how do you fix a solenoid? Okay, so we checked it out, and it's this orange one that is bad. It's out of the normal range. So we follow this back. It's this black one right here. This is the solenoid that has gone bad. So this is the one we're going to replace. Make sure you turn the water off before you take the solenoid out. There, now it's off. So now that we know the solenoid is bad and we turn the water off, now we need to replace it. So sometimes you can buy just the solenoid itself to replace it, and sometimes you have to buy the whole valve. Now in this particular case, this is a Weathermatic solenoid, and so you want to pay attention to the brand and the model number here, if you can see it there. It says Weathermatic model S20P. So when you're buying a solenoid, make sure you get the same one. If it was a Hunter, make sure that you're getting the Hunter one, and obviously with the Rainbird as well, make sure you're getting the right solenoid for the right valve. Now, they're not difficult to replace, but there's a few things to remember when you do so that you don't have problems, because it's easy to mess it up. Okay, so lefty-loosey, we just unscrew it all the way. And one thing to keep in mind, depending on the solenoid, sometimes there are loose parts in here. Like this brand has a plunger that is separate. So make sure you take all of that out. Double check inside, make sure there's no debris, which this one looks clean. We've got our new solenoid right here with the plunger. Don't forget all the little parts and springs when you put it back, because that could cause problems later. And then one very key point, don't use any tools to put the solenoid back on. Only your strong hands. It doesn't have to be super tight, just hand tight. You can easily over tighten and damage. Another thing to be aware of is cross threading. Both of these pieces are plastic, so it's easy to cross thread. It's very difficult to fix it if you do that. You'll probably have to replace the whole valve, perhaps. So hand tight and don't cross thread. Okay, so here we go, put the new one back in. Just make sure that it's straight up and down. We're not cross threading it. And you can tell because it's easy to screw in. If you have to force it right away, usually stop and make sure you're not cross-threading it. Hand tight, that's it, that's all you need. So at this point, what I like to do, before I wire everything up, I wanna make sure that that new solenoid is not leaking anywhere. So I'll turn the water back on and make sure that it's not leaking anywhere. Yeah, I don't see anything leaking there, that's good. Let me make sure this is open all the way then. So now we know this solenoid is not leaking and we get to wire it up again. So you want to find the common, which is typically the white wire. Right here we found it. Typically the white wire connect one side to the common and the other side to the wire that goes back to the clock, which in this case is this orange one right here. So we'll disconnect this and we'll make sure that we connect one of these wires, one of these new white wires, to this orange one here. Personally, I like to use these outdoor ones. They're waterproof and they work really well. I rarely have problems with these ones. I like these. Make sure to twist this on, going to the right, so then when you put your wire nut back on, it actually tightens it. Twist it till it's just hand tight, and there you go. And this one you can see there's a little bit of silicone in there that seals it up with, so it's waterproof. Then we do the same thing with the common wire. Okay, so now that we've got the new solenoids screwed back in and we've got the wires connected, and that's time to test it. So now I go back to the clock, make sure that it's in the auto position, and then run it manually. Now different clocks do different things, but in this particular Rainbird, press and hold this and it will start with the first zone. Okay, that one's working fine. So now we'll advance to the next zone. And on this particular house, we have it delayed between valves. There's reasons for that, and I'll mention that in another video. And how to do that is also in another video, so check that out. But right now, we heard zone 2 turn on, so now let's try zone 3. So it's about to turn on now. Let's check it out. There we go, that's zone 3. Now we know zone 3 is the one with the bad solenoid, but it's a good idea to run through the rest of the zones to make sure that nothing else is causing a problem. So to do that, just keep pushing the forward button on the clock. So when you're all done going through the whole system, go ahead and put everything back the way you found it. And I always like to double check too to make sure that I don't have any other leaks coming from the valve that I worked on or any others since I already have it opened up. One last bonus tip, if you already are replacing a solenoid and you have all the wires out, you might as well check all of them to see. Also, check to make sure the connections are good. And if you see that there's maybe not good connections or anything's loose, take the extra minute and fix it while you're there. Well, hopefully that took care of it. And if it helped you out, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. It helps other people find the video. And also too, if there's any other questions you have, put them in the comments below. I'll see if I can help you out. Thanks for watching and see you next time.